Hello, I'm Eric Scott, and this is the Creative Prayer Book. We are in week number 8. We're on lesson number 8 of our little book. This has all been about this tiny little landscape formatted sketchbook that I received from Stillman and Byrne, and I've been slowly creating a very rich, layered book of creative affirmations. And so last time, that's one of the things I was working on was adding the words. So up until now, I've used lots of watercolor pencil, collage, ink, and really created 5 or 6 or 7 different layers. Today, I want to continue working with the words, the affirmations, the prayers, if that's what you choose to do. So you might recall from last week that I was using these index cards, and I have a whole bunch of them, and I just wrote down different affirmations. Even since last week, I've come up with a couple new ones, including this one, which I don't know why I haven't thought of it before. The Journey is the Destination, which is the title of a book about Dan Eldon. So if you're not familiar with him, you should check him out and check out his journals. But anyway, I've gone through and I've done some of the stencils. So I used some watercolor pencil and I used some ink on it. So that's what I did last time, working with the stencils. I want to continue working with the words, with the affirmations, but this time I'm just going to use my Uniball Vision pens. Okay, so these are waterproof, fade-proof pens, and they're really great for layering on top of most things. And so I'm going to continue working with the words, with the lettering, with my phrases today. So I have a few here on top that I might want to use today. And for today's lesson, I want to focus on sort of using your own handwriting. So I didn't start off that way because I think stencils is an easy way to access lettering. And if you're like me, you might not be extremely confident in your own handwriting, and I have terrible handwriting, but it's mine, so I want to use it. But there are things I can do to make it better, to make it look good. So that's what I want to talk about today. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start with this one. You already have what you need. And so I just need to find a space so I can flip through and really look and see where I might. And I want to think about the space. Okay, and I want to think about how I want to write it. I think I want to write it very much like this. I use a lot of uppercase letters when I print. So today I'm focusing on my own handwriting. So I print a lot, so I'm going to be printing, but then I also write longhand, what we know as cursive. So when I was in elementary school, that was, everything had to be written longhand. And I remember writing reports in high school all longhand and way long before word processors and computers, and everything had to be typed. So anyway, thinking about in this space, you already have what you need. So I want to think, do I want to print it? I think I do want to print it kind of the way it is, and I like that idea of the word need being bigger. So just like I did with my stenciling, I have the card in front of me because I'm terrible with spelling, so that way I can just write it. I am going to try to be a little bit neater. So I think I'm going to write it the same way. You already have what you, and then need real big. All right, so let me just go ahead and write that. Okay, so as you look at it, my letters are pretty thin. And yeah, you can read that. And the word need really stands out because it's bigger. But because of this thick red line, the word have, what, and ready, they kind of disappear. So now I want to go back. I want to embellish. I want to do something to this to make it even stand out more and to make it a little bit more artistic, to make it a little bit more creative. So I'm going to thicken my letters, but at the same time thinking about how to make them a little bit more creative, a little bit more artistic. So thinking about, drawing a little shape around the letters, and then I'm going to fill it in, color it in. And this is where I can start to play around with, maybe there's some parts that are a little bit thicker of the letter, maybe they're a little bit thinner, but you can already see how the letters really start to pop out, really make them stand out from the page. So this is a way that I can take my regular handwriting, my atrocious printing handwriting, and do something a little bit more creative with it, a little bit more artistic with it. Okay, so I've gone through and I've done every word, and all of a sudden you can see how everything just pops out just by making the letters, the words thicker. They really pop out, and that's my own unique handwriting. And by making it thicker, by doing what I've done, I've really turned it into a style of lettering. So I really like that. So I want to do that again, but I think what I want to do is do something cursive instead of black. I do have other colors. I do have a red and a blue, so maybe I'll try to find a place to get my to do red. So I'm going to put that out. Let's see. Do I want that one? How about tell your stories? So I have the biggest thing now is like really how much of the space do the words fill, and that's going to be the challenge. Is that I want it to fill up a lot of the space, but it might be good here because I've tell your stories, tell your stories. I'm just worried about the magazine. It's kind of glossy, but it might work. So I think I might. Let me see. Tell your stories, but it's red on red. Here we go. I think this would work. So I could do tell your stories. That would work. Okay, so now I'm going to do something that's more of a cursive writing. So kind of thinking back to a long time ago. And so thinking about those cursive letters, and again I'm going to do the same thing where I embellish it. So so I want to write it very big and kind of take my time. Tell your, I think I want to do capital S there. Okay, so just like before, I mean, the letters get really lost, especially because I have these red circles. So now I want to go ahead and embellish just almost the same way, but instead of thinking about it as rectangles, since the lines are curves, I can really think about having points at the end of my lines. So it could be pointed. And then maybe it's thicker around the E, and it's thicker around the L. So that way, as the letters go through space, they change. They get thicker and thinner. That's going to create a lot of interest in the piece, in the lettering. Okay, so you can see how the words really start to stand out. And if I want to, I could use my black pen and outline the letters. That would make them stand out even more. So I could do other stuff to it, but that easily I can take my own handwriting and turn it into more something. Turn it into a more graphic thing, a more artistic, a more visual kind of thing instead of just handwriting. So take some time this week and play around with writing, adding more of your prayers or wishes or dreams or affirmations or whatever it is that you're adding to your prayer book. And think about how you can use your own handwriting, longhand cursive if you want, or printing, and then going back and thickening and embellishing the letters so that the words really stand out and it becomes more of like a hand lettering, more of an intentional thing and not just your ordinary regular handwriting. So don't fill up all the pages though, because I think that I'm going to have maybe 2 more lessons about lettering and about using words, and then maybe have a couple more. So we're kind of in the downhill swing of this workshop. So we've added a lot, but there's still a few more things that I want to go over, a few more things that I want to touch upon. So just keep plugging away, keep adding some words, and we'll get into some more of it next week. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you're getting something out of it. I hope that you're enjoying this series, and until next time, happy creating.